Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, Jon Herold. Happy Friday. Love me some Fridays. It's kind of cold here in North Dakota. I think like tonight we're supposed to have like freezing weather almost, which seems a little early. I already got my email to like blow out the sprinklers or whatever at my house, which I don't know. I'm not quite ready for winter, but anyway, how's everybody doing? Got a good chat already. I'm very excited about today's show because at the beginning here, I'm going to be joined by Annie from Willow Wind Farm, and she's the one who puts together the soft disclosure, which I can't wait to talk about. Can't wait for you guys to meet her. She is an amazing woman. We'll get to that, but let's first get a quick word from today's sponsors. And first up, we have a little MyPillow action. Everybody needs a good night's sleep. It's very important. They're hard to come by. There's a lot of factors that go into people not getting good night's sleep. One of those being you don't have the right pillow. And you can fix that problem. It's an easy one to fix. You just go to mypillow.com and use promo code Badlands. You can get the standard pillow for $19.98. You can get the queen size for $24.98, the king size for $29.98, and the body pillows for $39.98. You can also call 1-800-795-5154 to take advantage of wholesale pricing and receive $100 in free digital gifts if your order is over $75. Again, that's mypillow.com, promo code Badlands. You can support Badlands Media while getting a good night's sleep doing it. And then we also got a new sponsor in the mix. It was a little while ago. I don't remember when I said it, but I was like, we need to get a Faraday bag sponsor. And the team at Badlands, who is awesome, Jessica, went and got us one. That's Silent. Introducing Silent. Empower your right to disconnect with Silent Faraday cage bags. In a world where tech never sleeps, our mission is to keep you safe, private, and healthy. Our patented technology shields your device from hacking, tracking, and EMF radiation, giving you autonomy over your digital life. Disconnecting sparks creativity, strengthens relationships, and brings peace of mind. With Silent, you get effortless gear built with integrity, always staying one step ahead to protect your data and security. Choose Silent and reclaim your freedom to disconnect. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/silent, that's SLNT, and use promo code Badlands to snag your discount. Again, badlandsmedia.tv/silent with no vowels, promo code Badlands. And with that, let's get right to it. I would like to introduce Annie from Willow Wind Farm. Annie, are you there? Oh, did we lose her? She was there. Cheryl, if you're watching, you might have to have her back out and then come back in, and it should be good to go. Have her just join the link again. While we wait for that to get sorted out, I will hold on, let me talk here. Technical difficulties. Hold for processing. So while we're waiting for her to come back in, we can start plugging away on some of the news, some of the headlines. Oh, there she is. Hey, Annie, you there?
I am here. Are you? I was just having a little technical difficulty trying to figure out how to turn you off, but I don't think I need to turn you off. But Cheryl was trying to get me to turn you off. So
well, anyway. I think we're good. I think we're good. I can see you and hear you just fine. You look lovely. How is everything going?
I'm in my barn clothes. I've got 2 girls in labor right now. So,
well, 2 alpacas?
Yeah.
That's amazing. For those who don't know, Annie has alpacas. How many do you have?
A lot. I have over 160 animals on the farm.
What?
No, this is not a small operation. Yeah, it's 85 acres, and I moved here during lockdown in 2020, and it was an upgrade from my old farm. And yeah, the whole idea was to scale up in both breeding and I'm a breeder, and I also I have high-end merino sheep, a small flock.
Huh.
and their fiber gets blended together. And yeah, so it's been an adventure in scale and opportunity,
That
really.
is amazing. When did you get introduced to Badlands? Because it was a while ago. I remember getting a picture that you and some alpaca like hats that my kids still wear to school in the winter. But you named a couple alpacas after me in Burning Bright.
Yeah, and actually I started listening to you before Badlands. So
Okay.
you and Just Human,
Yeah.
and I watched whatever it was, the episode when Burning Bright came on with his avatar.
Oh yeah.
He also has an alpaca here, and he's a really cool looking boy. He's got one ice blue eye and one brown eye. So that's Burning Bright. He's
So he's a little
insane.
defective. Like, is
Yeah,
that what you're?
he's a little defective. It's
Okay.
actually quite rare in alpacas, but he's a beautiful boy. But he's in the same pen with we call him Harry, the Herald.
That tracks as
And
well.
yeah, those are registered animals, so they have a certificate. They read Willow Wind the Herald and Willow Wind Burning Bright. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
so
they're in a
funny.
big pack of boys. But I actually reached out to you guys with I had some hats at the time
Yeah.
that I had talked to your merch. It was very much in the beginning when you were just getting into merch. And I had a bunch of these hats. So I lifted your logo off the web and I
Yep.
had labels made and I sent hats out to a handful of you guys. And my whole objective was to try to get you to adopt them as merch. I never heard anything back from anybody. I figured that was, just what it was. But I've been pursuing sort of a relationship with Badlands for a long time, since the
Yeah.
beginning of time. So
And now we finally got one, and I think it's a
now we
great one.
finally got one. Now we
And
finally got
it's
one.
because of soft disclosure, which we'll get to in a little bit here. I do want to ask though, like, so you have this farm. What drew you to like how did the whole Willow Wind Farm even begin, and then what drew you to making these natural products that you do?
So I moved to Colorado. It's a sort of a circuitous story. I'll try to keep it very short. Um, but I moved to Colorado with a young boy, my son Zach, who is now 40 next year, which is
Wow.
just insane. But he was like 5, and I was living in Iowa at the time. And I just decided, my big goal was to come out here and get my PhD from um, Colorado, University of Colorado, Boulder. And so I just literally, we hopped in it was a little bit more thoughtful than that, but we basically got in a really wrecked up Honda Civic with a few belongings and drove to Colorado. We ended up renting a room from some college guys, and I had like $600 in my pocket. It was
Wow.
crazy, just insane. And but I was really, I think that the theme of my life has been, part chaos, but for some reason, the good Lord has allowed me to follow just my own inspiration. And I follow that stuff. I'm quite devoted and I'm not a dabbler. So I'm quite focused. And so I moved out to Colorado and I had worked in natural food stores for about 10 years off and on. And my distributor for those stores was in Denver. I didn't know anyone here, right? I got my kid in school and I quickly ran out of cash and I hounded them for days and just essentially forced them to hire me in some entry level position. And so I was working in the natural foods industry at a very sort of nascent time. There weren't big chains out
Yeah.
there or anything. And yeah, I spent my career in natural foods as a result. I spent 42 years there. And
And so like with the natural ingredients and stuff that you use, like why is that so important to you? Like what makes your ingredients different, first of all, and the local sourcing that I know you use. Why is that so important? Because it's got to be difficult in today's day and age. Maybe it's getting easier with Trump back in there, but it's got to be difficult to find the natural products like
well,
you use.
I'm in the perfect place in a lot of ways because a lot of it's grown here. The
Yeah.
tallow comes from a dear friend, and she's an older woman. She's got 3,800 acres, and
Oh,
she's
gee.
been running cows for about 30 years. And she was one of the she's grass fed and finished. And so when I became interested in tallow, I had a conversation with her. I just literally last week bought all of her suet for this year. There's another grass fed guy here up north, and I'm in conversation with him. So the sourcing thing is really important to me. And it sort of goes back to a bit of an education in natural foods. I spent 40 years talking about sustainable ag and sustainability and all of that sort of thing. And so, you just pick up bits and pieces. And the reality is that we've kind of messed up the food system. And, so in our bodies, on our bodies was very central to, sort of my lifestyle. I also have been a grower. I've grown my own food since I was probably 22 years old.
Good for you.
That's its own challenge. And so I just kept leaning more and more and more into this kind of sustainable, self-sufficient lifestyle.
Yeah.
And ultimately, as I was sort of, when I made the change to move here to this, my family thought I was out of my mind. And the reality is I probably am a little out of my mind, but I don't have a livestock, sort of farming background. I bought myself 85 acres of land, and there was an unfinished home here. And I just, you see, it's an act of devotion for me, and I'm pretty functional, utilitarian type person, kind of practical. I became invested in alpacas, and there's a lot of breeding and showing that goes on in that industry, but not enough of the fiber production end. And so I became really devoted to that and sort of eased out of the consulting and eased into a working ranch, which is an epic journey. And I'm sure we have ranchers and people devoted to that out in the audience, but that is a ton of freaking work. You have to really focus, but I'm surrounded by 5th and 6th generation ranchers. So this is a really wonderful community. It's like going back in time about 50 years. It's very mutually supportive and all of that. And the body care piece of it has been a part of my life for probably 20 years. I've made my own. I worked for large brands in the natural organic space, big brands that you would recognize the name of. I won't mention them for their own sake, but did a lot of work with them. I have very smart friends who are PhD scientist people who do chemistry. I'm just naturally interested in it. And so, over time when you're putting this stuff together, but the real test is taking it from sort of personal use to, the front of the house and putting it in a retail format. And so I have my own brand. I have my own store. I have my own, and that was part of this sort of expansion for me personally. So the items that you have are, I share a lot of them actually,
So last questions for you here, and then we'll start going through the news, guys. It's been great talking to you. I think a lot of people aspire to the lifestyle that you have, especially in the truth community, especially after these last few years. But out of the lotion, deodorant, and tallow stick from Soft Disclosure, because you are the one who makes it, which one is your favorite to make? And what do you want people to feel when they use these products?
Oh my goodness. That's such a good question. Which is my favorite to make? The most challenging one to make is the deodorant for sure. That was a really long, epic journey over the last year and a half, really. And I actually, for all the ways that I smell, probably way too much information. My son won't even let me drive in his car.
No.
Yeah, no, it's just, you work in a barn, that's how you smell. But I don't have body odor, so oddly. And so putting the deodorant together involved the entire community here.
That's great.
So it's fun to make, but that's a very sensitive recipe in a lot of ways. And then I love the tallow because I love the tallow. I love the coffee and the vanilla. The coffee is actually from a micro roaster here in the valley. We have all these sort of wildly talented people here.
Yeah, I want to get out to that area one of these days.
Yeah, you are welcome to come visit. It's a beautiful place. It really is a stunning place. I am blessed beyond belief. But there's a micro roaster here in town, and he gave me a really solid education on coffee and roasting. And apparently, most of the coffee that we have on the out in the main market is over roasted, and actually isn't an antioxidant; it's a carcinogen.
Oh, wow.
So I get all my coffee from him, and so that's fun for me because I do a lot of infusions, and that was a labor of love there. So.
Awesome. Well, Annie, I really appreciate it. We appreciate you. Love having the partnership with you. For those who need to know,
Likewise.
softdisclosure.com to get the products. This is the woman who's putting it all together. And she's been awesome to work with. So thank you so much for hopping on with us today. And we'll have to do this again in the future.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. All right, guys. I know keep the show to an hour typically. And so when I do interviews, I try to keep them short. I could have talked to her I have so many questions, like just a wonderful, amazing woman, beautiful soul. And we're very happy to have the partnership with her and proud that she's the one that's making these products for us. So absolutely love it. Let's start kicking through the headlines here. No update on the Doge website. There is one update on the presidential website, and it is implementing the United States-Japan agreement. And it's an executive order all about the framework and everything to implement the agreement that we have with Japan. I won't go too much into the details of this. One thing that was kind of interesting that from yesterday with Trump. So Trump on True Social, we've all seen how he does things. He'll go on these sprees where he just posts a bunch of random stuff. And it's like, what are you doing, bro? He went through and he had a whole bunch of these links. Smithsonian interviews overdue. Witkoff meets Ukraine officials in New York. Again, this is within the last 24 hours since I last did my show. John Bolton cashed in and paid the price. Over 100K American, like all these different stories. I'm going to go through a little bit of them, but all these stories are from August. That's what I thought was weird. He posted them, reposted them, shared them within the last 24 hours, but every single story is from August. Here is the one from Peter Navarro on the Hill talking about John Bolton. And I didn't realize that these were from August until after I started reading through. I'm like, this seems like old news. And sure enough, it was August 26th. And then there is an update on the John Bolton stuff. Maybe I can talk about that real quickly. His search warrant, John Bolton's search warrant, was revealed, and the warrant has been unsealed. It's all out there. The reason for the investigation is gathering, transmitting, or losing defense information and unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or material. And then some interesting redactions in here are related to his official duties and capacities as he is employed by the United States or was employed. The reason I'm going through these stories, by the way, is anytime Trump, there are a couple key figures we look to in the movement as like signal setters. And Trump posting these specific stories, I think, are interesting. Some of them are cultural stuff. Some of them are InfoWars stuff. Some of them are stuff related to ongoing investigations. The Bolton one is certainly notable considering the search warrant just came out. But like there's stuff like this that I think is just more funny and cultural. NFL's Washington Redskins should restore name and logo, says family of Indian chief it was based on. And that's from August 16th. But Trump posted it yesterday. It's fascinating. Just looking at the rants here in the comments. John, what do you think about Bill Gates meeting with Trump? I'll get to that in a little bit. Nobody told JB to whisper soft disclosure. Is it because he's black, John? No. You should just watch my shows and you would know. There is a reason. Nothing random. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like nothing he does is random. And I don't know what the reason is that he posts these stuff when he does. We all know he goes through his responses sometimes and will like retweet. Chris calls them boomer memes. That's Chris's phrasing for it. Happens quite a bit. When he's the one who's just directly posting the links and not retweeting them, it means like he wanted these stories, or somebody in the administration felt that these stories were important to put out there, stories from August, and he's bringing them back into the limelight again. So that it's notable stuff. This is an interesting one from August 12th, even further back. Over 100,000 Americans rushed to join Trump's massive ICE hiring spree nationwide, DHS says. I found out last night, we have a Badlander who applied to be one of these ICE agents, and he's in the process of like the onboarding. Within the next couple of weeks, it should be final, I believe. So we'll have an insider at ICE, which is going to be interesting. If he's allowed to, we'll get him on for an interview. They've hired more than 100,000 people, or at least that's how many people applied. I don't know how many have hired. But President Trump's administration launched a drive to hire 10,000 additional ICE agents at the end of July. All sorts of incentives. They have to go through medical screening, drug screening, and a complete physical fitness test, the agency clarified. I don't know if there's one interesting part of the physical fitness test. It's like a trust-based system, which I thought was interesting. But anyway, another story he reposted was this one. Witkoff meets Ukraine officials in New York ahead of emergency UN Security Council meeting. Very productive. This is on the heels of Putin saying while in China at the meetup they're doing over there that Witkoff has been like accurately conveying Trump's messaging, which is it's a good thing for Putin to say. This story's from August 29th. And then also yesterday on True Social, Trump had a few posts about the meetings going on over there. And I think they're kind of funny. Donald Trump, looks like we've lost India and Russia to deepest, darkest China. May they have a long and prosperous future together. President Donald J. Trump. Isn't that funny? How hard could a physical be? It was like you have to do so many push-ups in under like 2 minutes or 42 seconds. And then you have to do so many sit-ups. And then you had to be able to run, I don't know, like 250 yards in like 50 seconds. And then you had to run a mile and a half in like 4 minutes or something. I don't remember the details exactly. Somebody call a horse? We sure did. It's a news since the mainstream media neglected to tell us about any of it. We have to get our news straight from the horse's mouth and you guys, of course. Thank you. Mimi 2 Boys X2. Hey, John, how the hell do you raise the deodorant bar from the bottom of the container? I just got mine and don't know how to use it. You literally just push from the bottom. They make it pretty easy. Just push. But yeah, so Trump shares this. It's like, hey, I hope you guys have a long and happy future together. We talked on the Power Hour Wednesday a little bit about this, or at least Burning Bright did. But then once he posted that that was this morning at 5:14 a.m. Last night, yesterday, he posted this, a picture of him and Putin. And then right afterwards, he posted this one looking up at the B-2 bomber and some of the flight stuff. I thought that was interesting. I wonder if we're heading towards like the narrative that we are now at conflict or going to be at conflict more directly with the BRICS countries, which I think that's a narrative they would almost want to have out there at some point for the reconciliation aspect to fully take place. Maybe I don't know. I don't know the game theory going on here. It's we believe, I believe, I'm one of the people who believe that there is the sovereign alliance, and a lot of what we're seeing publicly is more kayfabe. And so it's not always easy to figure out or game theory out what the reason is behind Trump's post, especially when it comes to this stuff with foreign countries, with Russia, with Ukraine, with China, and all these other countries. Why does he need to narratively like distance and create that wedge there? I don't know, but it is noteworthy. One more thing. I guess this isn't on sovereign alliance stuff. We'll do 2 more True Social posts from Trump. One, Jerry Nadler, one of the most disgusting congressmen in USA history, is at long last calling it quits. He's finally leaving Congress. I've been beating this bum for 40 years, first as a New York City developer, where he opposed me for no reason at every corner, but could never stop me from getting the job done. And then as your president, where this psychopathic nut job, together with crazy Nancy Pelosi, impeached me twice and lost, wasting millions of dollars in time and taxpayer money. It will be a great day for the USA when Nadler, a pathetic lightweight, is out of office and leaves our beautiful and now very safe Washington, D.C. Make America great again. I love his parting words. So funny. Nadler is truly disgusting, says Ramon. Totally agree with that. Kurt K23. I'm just having fun watching all this stuff. I am too. It's not. It's fun watching, and it's more so fun watching the reactions from people. Like we believe we know what's going on, and we like to think we're correct. We've hit on things fairly accurately over the years. We haven't always been right, but at least we know that we're not like none of us are so confident in what we're saying that we're like, this is the way. And then anytime something like goes against it, it turns us into pretzels. Like we're willing to acknowledge things. So it's more fun for us to watch like how everybody else responds to the stuff as these things are playing out. And that's what I love when it comes to the foreign stuff. The mainstream media is such a tough time. There's a story, actually. I'll get to that later. This was the other post, and this is an interesting one. If you, it has to do with the Epstein thing, so this might upset some people. Just take it for what it's worth. I didn't write it. I'm just reading it. The confused and badly failing Democrat Party did nothing about Jeffrey Epstein while he was alive except befriend him, socialize with him, travel to his island, and take his money. They knew everything there was to know about Epstein, but now, years after his death, they, out of nowhere, are seeming to show such love and heartfelt concern for his victims. Does anybody really believe that? Where were they during his very public trials and for all those years before his death? Keep in mind, he could be writing this about Thomas Massie as well. It's the same thing, same principle. The answer is nowhere to be found. Maybe not the befriending Epstein part, because I have no idea if that's true, but at least like showing the care for him now and the truth and disclosure. Definitely talking about Massie is one of those here. The now dying, after the DOJ gave thousands of pages of documents in full compliance with a very comprehensive and exciting subpoena from Congress, Epstein case was only brought back to life by the radical left Democrats because they are doing so poorly with the lowest poll numbers in the history of the party, 16%, while the Republicans are doing so well, among the highest approval numbers the party has ever had. The Dems don't care about the victims, as proven by the fact that they never did before. Again, Thomas Massie. This is merely another Democrat hoax. Just like the Russia, and all the others, in order to deflect and distract from the great success of a Republican president and the record-setting failure of the previous administration and the Democrat Party. The Department of Justice has done its job. They've given everything requested of them. It's time to end the Democrat Epstein hoax and give the Republicans credit for the great, even legendary job that they are doing. Make America great again. So he's once again calling it a hoax. What do we do with that information, guys? What do we do with that information? I'm like, have we seen anything to make us not take his word for it on this? Like, that's an honest question. Like, outside of like influencers online saying that it's not a hoax and, you know, there's so much more here. And maybe that is true. I don't know. Maybe this is all one big cover up. Trump isn't who we thought he was. But everybody's losing their mind over this. It's kind of hilarious. Randy Edgerly, F the GOP. It's just, anytime he relates anything to a hoax, like Russia, which we know was a hoax to vilify Donald Trump by connecting him to Russia. They're doing the same thing with the Epstein files. They are trying to vilify Trump because of the Epstein files, something he never talked about on his own. It was always in response to questions. I've said that before. Let's keep going here. Oh, this is an interesting story. The FBI revealed that Kash Patel revealed that the FBI stopped potential mass shooting at North Carolina preschool. On Thursday, he revealed that his team stopped a potential mass shooting at a preschool after a North Carolina man allegedly threatened to massacre a group of 20 black preschoolers. The suspect, identified as 25-year-old Zachary Charles Newell, was taken into federal custody on Monday and charged with interstate threat to kidnap or injure, according to Fox News. The threat was allegedly made on YouTube on August 27th. It's great that they're going after. If you make a threat like that, you should be arrested. Absolutely. Newell posted a comment under the username Commentators Hate Me, where he allegedly stated his intention to shoot up a preschool, injuring or killing 20 black children. He also made a racist threat online the day before. No specific school was named. Threats of violence against children are beyond unacceptable acts of cowardice, Patel told the outlet. The FBI worked quickly with our partners in Carteret County, I don't know if I said that right, to ensure this individual was taken into custody before he could act. Parents should know we will never hesitate to respond with urgency to protect their kids, their schools, and their communities. This is like a complete shift in mindset and approach and focus than what we had for 4 years under the Biden administration, and even before that. Like, they were focusing on people going to church. They were focusing on J6ers. They were focusing on all sorts of BS and ignoring actual threats. And this proves that the entire mindset at the FBI is shifted now. Because I don't remember, and I could be wrong here, so don't quote me on this, but I don't remember a time where anything like this happened under Director Wray. Again, could be wrong on that. Maybe it was commonplace and they just never reported it. But it was pretty rare if it ever happened. So this is great. Ramon 222, yes, threats must be taken seriously now that we have a real FBI. Ramon 22, again, we were the enemy when Biden was in office. That is for sure. Nice to see Maggie Bundy, Ty, Joanne, Scheisler. Man, we got a great crowd today, guys. You guys are great. Ray did not do anything but lie to Congress. I do wonder if he's going to get held accountable for that. Because I think it's proven a few times over now. Here's another interesting one from Just the News. Convicted FBI agent tipped off Hunter Biden-linked Chinese company about criminal investigation. The since-convicted FBI official who led counterintelligence efforts in New York leaked information to an affiliate of a Chinese company which was linked to Hunter Biden's business efforts, according to a DOJ watchdog, who concluded the leak tipped the Chinese conglomerate off about the Bureau's criminal investigation. Charles McGonigal, somebody it's been talked about many times on this network, and Brian, I believe, was talking. I'm pretty sure Brian talked about it on his show today because they were talking about it last week or something. I didn't catch the episode, so apologies if I butchered that. But the former special agent in charge of the FBI counterintelligence division in New York leaked information to Person B, and I believe Person B is confirmed to be a guy by the name of Dorian Ducka, an unnamed businessman who worked for the Chinese energy conglomerate CEFC, even as the FBI was secretly investigating the Chinese company. By acting DOJ Inspector General William Barr, this guy was sentenced in December of 2023 for money laundering related to a Russian oligarch, and in February for receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars from an Albanian government official. That's crazy. I can't believe people do that shit. But yeah, CEFC, Hunter Biden. This is no small thing, and I wonder if it's like some groundwork for later investigations and disclosures on the Hunter Biden stuff. It's another one of the stories that I think we're gonna have to come full circle on. There is a report out here. I can even post it in the chat if you guys want it. It's just a 23-page report. I haven't had time to go through it quite yet. Did you just say Darkwing Duck? No, it's Dorian Duck. Dorian Duck. Anyway, another thing that came out of Just the News today, Biden memos. This is a biggie. It's kind of crazy. I forget how many different stories are out there that we need some sort of closure on and disclosure. You might even say soft disclosure. But there's a lot. And like the auto pen, I kind of forget about that one. Sometimes the Hunter Biden saga, we never really got to the bottom of that. The COVID, financial stuff, Russiagate, I mean, the impeachment, J6, all the political persecution of Trump. Like there's 10-ish things that all had outcomes prior till now that we were told one thing happened, when in reality it was a complete inversion of what actually happened, and we need some closure on it. And these stories we get when we get these little like quick hits of disclosure from Just the News and these other news agencies and the intelligence agencies with the DNI stuff and the reports they put out, they're just keeping the pulse going on every one of these stories, which I think is great. It's important. It provides context. Maybe even not all the normies care about this stuff, and they don't, but at least like when the banger stuff comes out later, the stuff they can't look away from, the context has all been laid, and it's been there for them the whole time. And networks like this have been here, like Badlands have been here talking about it the whole time. Anyway, Biden memos reveal auto pen use and Harris's role in clemency decisions. The auto pen, the Devo term. It's amazing. Internal White House documents reviewed by Just the News show aides to Joe Biden initially believed he was required to personally sign presidential actions such as pardons, but later shifted to allowing then Vice President Kamala Harris to weigh in on clemency decisions, while Biden increasingly relied on the autopen. The records were compiled as part of a Trump White House review into Biden's clemency process and use of automated signatures, raising new questions about whether Biden himself attended 4 key meetings in late 2024 and early 2025 that authorized sweeping pardons and commutations. Among the decisions examined were preemptive pardons for Biden family members and commutations for federal death row inmates. According to the National Archives and Records Administration, we did not find specific meeting notes that clearly mention or note that the president was present for any of the 4 clemency meetings. One decision memo on commuting federal death row sentences was also found to be unmarked, with no final version showing Biden's personal approval. Investigators also found no contemporaneous briefing books or notes confirming Biden attended the 4 clemency meetings in December 2024 and January 2025, despite retroactive emails claiming he was present. One December 10, 2024 draft memo from White House counsel Edward Siskel recommended Biden commute the sentences of 37 federal death row inmates to life without parole. The document offered Biden 4 options, which were approve, amend, reject, or discuss, but the archives could not locate any final signed version. All 37 commutations were nevertheless carried out. The internal review showed Biden's December 2024 briefing books contained little substantive information on clemency, apart from a December 13 entry with reports on CARES Act home confinement commutations and talking points for a media interview. This gap raised concerns about whether Biden was fully briefed on the actions he claimed to approve. Probably wasn't. Congressional testimony has shown that staffers managing the signature process often had limited direct contact with Biden. Some senior figures, including the president's personal physician and Jill Biden's chief of staff, invoked the Fifth Amendment in oversight interviews. This is just a crazy story, and I want to know how far back it actually goes. I think all of Biden's actions were illegitimate anyway because of the election. That's not a surprise to anybody watching. We've been saying that for a long time. But in terms of like delegitimizing his actions to the public and the normies in a way that to them is like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. The election should do that too, and maybe we'll get there. But if they decide to never go there, they can delegitimize everything he did because he used a freaking autopen and he never actually was the one making the decisions that he was elected to do. He was the one that we're told received the votes and had the authority to be making these decisions, and the only one that should be doing it. Yet none of that happened. And this is that the slippery slope, the snowball starting out at the top of the hill. By the time you get to the bottom of the hill, it's like, oh yeah, he was illegitimate because he clearly didn't win the election. Oh, that's another. I didn't even mention that earlier when I was talking about all the things that we need a conclusion on. The 2020 election. I don't even think I said that. Anyway. Bravest. John is like me. Eventually, a highlights the whole page. Yeah, I see. I don't read through and then go back for highlights. I just start reading and highlight everything I want to talk about or read that I think is important enough to read. And sometimes it just so happens everything was worth it. So you highlight it all. I'm not going to go back and waste time deleting stuff I already highlighted. Sounds like a significant waste of time. This is what was put out by Just the News, though. All the actual memos. I can post this in the chat too for you guys. So there you go. But let's keep trucking here. Trump is expected to nominate Lieutenant General William Hartman to lead NSA and Cyber Command. President Trump is preparing to nominate William Hartman as the acting head of the he is the acting head of the National Security Agency and U.S. Cyber Command to officially take over both posts, according to Politico, citing 2 people familiar with the matter. Hartman, who has been running the agency since April after Trump dismissed General Timothy Howe, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, that's the one where it was reported that Laura Loomer was at the White House or something, and it was because of Laura Loomer that Timothy Howe got fired. I don't know if that's true. If it is, it's kind of funny, but I'm pretty sure that's the guy. Anyway, Hartman has backing from senior officials at the White House, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, and the Defense Department. His nomination will move through the National Security Council and require Senate confirmation. It comes with promotion to 4-star general. A longtime cyber operations leader, Hartman previously served as deputy commander of Cyber Command and as commander of the Cyber National Mission Force His career also includes assignments on infantry, intelligence, and cyber operations across the U.S., Europe, South Korea, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Something to remember, guys. All of these agencies that are being filled now, like these people that are being put into key positions, and I don't know if this technically counts as one of them, but I'm pretty sure it does because you need Senate confirmation. The final decision on putting these forward are being brought by Dan Scavino. He is now head of the White House Personnel Office. So these are his people. And pretty much everybody that fills some sort of administration role that needs Senate confirmation moving forward will be a Dan Scavino approved pick. And that is important context with all of these. So keep that in mind. Burning Bright's in the chat. What the hell? Yeah, Burning Bright, apparently your alpaca has like 2 different eyes. He's cross-eyed, just deformed really. But he does exist still. He's still alive. That's what, I'm pretty sure that's what he said. I may be paraphrasing slightly, but it's there. Stepping in late, have a great day. Going back to the beginning. Thank you, Mama 3 boys. I don't remember the last time Burning Bright watched a stream of mine. He's normally too busy on baby duty, or maybe he's always watching and taking notes and stuff, and he's probably so busy taking notes. That's why he never pops in the chat. But yeah, good to see you. New York Attorney General appeals reversal of the $500 million Trump penalty. 2 weeks ago, the appellate division of the New York Supreme Court struck down the fine, finding it violated the 8th Amendment's prohibition on excessive fines, which, yeah, it absolutely freaking did. But now she's asking them to reverse it. She's going to the New York Court of Appeals. It would be kind of hilarious if this specific ruling to strike down this fine would go to the Court of Appeals. That would be hilarious. It's a party. Ad read. LOL. Always Ash, sometimes Ghost can't con. BB, you're doing dirty diaper duty, ain't ya? I thought Scavino was in charge of hiring White House staff, and that's why I said I wasn't 100% sure if it was this guy, but let me double check this. Dan, it's probably important that I don't misspeak on it, huh? Come on now. He's taking over the office of the White House Presidential Personnel Office. So let's see what's included in that. It's vetting new appointees, political appointment positions. It presents candidates for presidential appointments with Senate confirmation. And that's where I'm like, I think this is one of them. And executive office of the president. Sorry, I'm just piecing through here. What was the guy's position again? NSA Cyber Command. Because the thing that got me thinking that's what it was is the fact that it needs Senate confirmation. Here, let's do this. Is the head of NSA... what is it called again? White House Personnel Office? Yeah, so the Presidential Personnel Office may be involved in recommending and vetting candidates for senior government positions that the president nominates them and the Senate must approve. So that's what I'm saying. Like, anybody has to go through Senate confirmation. So I think we're both right on that one. Rise the tire. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, speaking of the DOD and whatnot, Trump is going to be signing an executive order reviving the Department of War as the name for the Department of Defense. The anticipated executive order to revive the Department of War name will authorize the Secretary of Defense, Department of Defense, and subordinate officials to use secondary titles such as Secretary of War, Department of War, and Deputy Secretary of War in official correspondence. Like, if I was going to be a secretary, like somebody who's going to refer to me as secretary, being a guy, I think the most badass thing I would want to be referred to as is the Secretary of War. That is awesome. I love that. So it's cool that it's going back. The order is expected to direct all executive departments and agencies to recognize and accommodate the change. This will be the 200th executive order that Trump has signed since taking office. The last time the department's name was changed took an act of Congress. CNN reached out to the White House earlier about how it would change the name this time. Wasn't it the War Department? I don't remember. I wasn't alive back then. Pretty sure it's Department of War, though. U.S. Department of War, also called the War Department, and occasionally War Office in the early years. Secretary of War. It's such a badass title. Yeah, so War Department, I mean, it's used both ways, but that's a good comment, Bravest. That's my county, pronounced Carteret. After FBI informed Carteret County sheriff arrested him, he was released under $30,000 bond, then FBI arrested again. Is that what you're saying, True Deplorable? So he was arrested, released on bond, and then arrested again? That's crazy. All right. Labor market. We got some new jobs numbers. America's job market flashes yet another warning sign about the economy. What we're covering here. The latest employment snapshot from the Bureau of Labor Statistics paints a bleak picture of the current state of the economy under President Donald Trump. Sure. Labor market deterioration. Just 22,000 jobs were added in August, dramatically lower than economists' expectations for 76,500 new roles. Negative job growth for the first time in nearly 4 years. The economy lost jobs with a decline of 13,000 positions in June. Jobless rate rose to 4.3%, the highest level since 2021. I don't believe any of this data, by the way. I just don't. I think it's all fabricated. And I think Trump alluded to that. That's why he fired the original person putting the data out on a lot of this stuff and put somebody new in there. And also the job stuff, I don't really care about necessarily because of the deportation efforts. The more illegal immigrants that are taken out of this country, not allowed to come into the country, obviously like less people looking for jobs. And so more interesting to me, a number I would be more interested in would be how many of these jobs were filled by American-born workers. How many of those people got new jobs? And out of the jobs that were lost, the economy lost jobs, how many of those were foreign-born workers? Like American workers versus foreign workers in the middle of the deportation efforts, those are the numbers that are most important. Because while they're saying all this stuff, it might not actually affect the economy like people want it to or think it will. There is a story from CNBC. Lutnick was on talking about jobs numbers and stuff, and he says jobs reports will get more accurate. Lutnick predicts before BLS reveals sluggish August hiring. He predicted that the jobs report Friday would be more accurate because President Trump fired former Commissioner Erica McIntarfer. Lutnick made the prediction less than an hour before BLS said job growth stalled out in August. He says, I'll think they'll get better. And after he was asked if people should believe the BLS numbers will be accurate, that's because you'll take out people who are just trying to create noise against the president. The holdovers from the Biden administration were rooting against America and against Donald Trump, and that's got to end. So yeah, it's kind of in line with what I was just saying. Anything? I know I have more stories. Oh, we got this. Trump posted this on True Social. This is more funny. He says, from a Delta captain, I thought you would get a kick out of this. Delta's official memo to employees. Big changes, Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America, and the liberals thought notice to airmen was racist, so they changed it to notice to air missions. Delta just changed it back to notice to airmen. I think they are finally embracing MAGA. Yeah, so those are some changes that were made. Anytime the woke stuff gets reversed, I think it's awesome. Changing notice to air mission to notice to airmen is great. He did have another post like this. Jerome Too Late Powell should have lowered rates long ago. As usual, he's too late. I think the jobs numbers comes out, is it next week? Let me look that up here quick. When is the next Fed rate? Hold for processing. ChatGPT is currently thinking. PJ Corgan, how about that game last night? Yeah, your guy, I'm pretty sure, kicked my butt. I'm pretty sure I'm losing. My guy did not play well. I didn't watch the game. I was busy doing some other stuff anyway, but I saw clips. So I'm playing PJ Corgan in fantasy football this week in one of my leagues, the Badlander Fan League or whatever, and things are not looking good for me. I'm going to start off the year on a bad note. Yeah, Ty says the 17th, and that's right. Wednesday, September 17th, 2 p.m. Eastern is the next meeting, press conference to follow that. Ravis says no bee talk, John, and I will refrain from discussing bees the best I can. This story from, it's not Charlie Kirk, but he posted about it in Ghost. Actually, you know what? I should just show Ghost's post. Let me do that quick. Because I'm pretty sure Ghost posted on this as well. But it's talking about influencers being paid again to post stuff online. Hold for processing. Okay, right here. This is what his post said. America is living under state capture, most likely Israel, and the diaspora, and the international effort, Sovereign Alliance, to challenge the transnational cartel. I think he's meant cartel, not Carter. Will now become the target of Con Inc., which is demonstrably an instrument of the state-captured uniparty. What Charlie Kirk had posted here was this. Who exactly is paying them and how much? We have laws against foreign interests paying social media influencers. We should start enforcing them. What he's talking about is this account, Aesthetica, compiled some social media influencers all saying like nice things about India. Do you remember back when DC Drano and a bunch of other people took money from that app Influenceable to promote whatever the Coke lobbyists wanted or whatever it was, the soda can thing? Super stupid, but people just selling out to post a message. That's what they're doing again. Chuck Calesto, CCP would love for America to waste energy pressuring countries that aren't a threat. Don't take the bait. Stand strong. Election Wizard, the fake news is trying to paint India as an enemy. Why? Because they've always loved and worked with Trump. Don't buy into the swamp tactics. If you make them an enemy, they will fall into the hands of the CCP. Gunther Eagleman, the CCP runs illegal surveillance ops, floods U.S. markets with subsidized spyware, steals military and tech secrets. India buys oil legally. India loves Trump. That's why the mainstream media is going after them. Let's not waste time pretending they are the enemy just because India participates in the free market naturally. Then American AF. India isn't the problem. Pushing them toward China's alliance is. We're alienating a potential partner. India has always loved Trump. Don't let the mainstream media trick us into thinking India is an enemy. That is kind of crazy. John, I texted you a couple days ago about the data breach in Wisconsin. I don't know if I saw that. I'll double check my text. I get quite a few of them as my number gets further out there into the ether. John, don't ghost, bro. That ain't cool, Ghostbuster John. I ain't ghost. Ghost is going live here, though, right after the show in like 6 minutes. So we'll raid him, and you guys can ask him for me. That's a list of who's who at the kitty table. Yep. Here's another one. Trump Media closes purchase agreement with Crypto.com. We talked about this last week. After, and it might even been during the show, I went on my Coinbase account and I bought a little, threw some gambling money at the CRO token just because well, with this deal going through, that's probably going to go up a little bit. Not financial advice. They finalized that deal now with Crypto.com. Because last week they just announced that they were looking to do it. The deal's been finalized. Trump Media, which operates True Social, will acquire 684 million Kronos tokens at a price of approximately 15.3 cents per token as part of a 50% stock, 50% cash exchange with Crypto.com. And that price is what's interesting because it's like when I bought it was like 20 cents. It's up to probably 30 by now. And it was up at almost 40 sometime last week. Let me see where it's at right now. Yeah, it's at 27 now. The tokens represent approximately 2% of the current circulating CRO supply, which is in addition to approximately 90% of the CRO circulating supply to be acquired by Trump Media Group CRO Strategy, Inc. As a result of the agreement, the CRO token will be integrated into True Social as part of a reward system using Crypto.com's digital wallet infrastructure. Trump Media CEO Devin Nunes said in a statement, Trump Media is pleased to close this agreement and quickly begin to fulfill our strategic partnership with Crypto.com. We're convinced that CRO has tremendous potential to spread widely as a versatile utility token and a superior form of safe, fast payment and money transfer, and we're excited to add this innovative asset to our balance sheet. Again, I'm a big believer in Bitcoin. I play around with other tokens too, so G-Money, don't be mad at me. But I did throw some money into this. This is not financial advice, but if you like to gamble with some money sometimes and throw it here and there, speculative things, this might not be a bad one to do. I'm curious to see how they integrate this with the True Social. That could be, it's a very Nostr-like thing that they're doing here. And so I'm intrigued enough to throw some Deadwood money into it. And with that, guys, I think that is all the things that I wanted to talk about. So once again, thank you for tuning in. And Annie was great. If you missed the beginning of the show, I had Annie, the one who makes our soft disclosure products on, and she just talked a little bit about her background. She's just a wonderful person. We're so happy to be partnered with her. She's the one who makes every bottle of this, softdisclosure.com. The lotion, tallow bar, deodorant, whatever it is, she's the one, the backbone behind that. So we're very happy to be partnered with her. And you'll understand why we love the products so much too, and why the products turn out the way they are. They're incredible. So Lone Gladio with a Rumble rant says, stayed at Annie's alpaca ranch a few weeks ago. No way. Beautiful place. Alpacas are so sweet. Skin products are phenomenal. And she's one of the coolest and smartest humans I've ever met. Love Annie and Badlands. Are you the ones that didn't realize she was a Badlander until after you left? Because if that's you guys, that's hilarious. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Annie, I didn't know this, but she was actually, when she said she was going to Colorado to go to school, she was going to study subatomic particle physics. So yeah, she's a brilliant lady. Salbish, I wish I had taken before pics, but I just got my tallow bar a few days ago, and man, oh man, did it fix a couple years of neglect on my feet on literally the first day. Smells amazing too. Miracle stuff. That's cool to hear. Salbish, thank you. Thank you for that. Softdisclosure.com. Mimi, 2 boys, X2. Hey, John, how the hell did you raise the deodorant bar from the bottom of the container? I just got mine and don't know how to use it. Yeah, push it from the bottom. I think I addressed that earlier. Then Ty Indie Boy, or 12 Indie Boy. Ty, good to see you, man. Loved learning more about Annie. All the random news from Trump today and other things on X makes me think the word of the day is discernment. All should use it when they see haters. Amen. Amen, Ty. Appreciate you, brother. All right, guys, with that, I'm going to wrap it up and send you over to Ghost Show. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. Don't forget, Only Lands tonight. Make sure you tune in. I believe we're going to have a little celebrity in the house in the form of Mr. John Drake. Love his name. That's why he's coming on, John Drake. I likely will not be there tonight. Maybe I will, though. Maybe I'll make an appearance. You'll never know. But yeah, John's going to be there. A couple other Badlanders who don't routinely join will probably join in. So should be a fun one. Hit the thumbs up. You guys have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. I will for sure see you again tomorrow on the Devolution Power Hour. And last thing, I promise. This weekend, going to Minneapolis, me and Brian are participating in a golf outing for Next to Can on Saturday. Sunday, we are having a Badlanders meetup at Pub Q. So if you're in the Minneapolis area, want to come hang out, meet us, meet Josh Reed, why don't you come join us? Make sure you RSVP to Quinny's Sports Pub at gmail.com. That's QUINNYS Sports Pub at gmail.com. It's going to be a great time. Lots of people already RSVP'd. So we'll see you guys there. And have a great rest of your weekend.
Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.